You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5. Hey y'all.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J. Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com. Will you do me a favor? Boston. How you feeling? You good?
I am full right now.
Oh,
Okay.
You had breakfast?
No, I'm full. Just
full of
spiritually,
all
I'm
this energy.
full with energy.
Yes.
We've had an amazing weekend, and just hearing both of these amazing gentlemen speak, you got me a little emotional because I know your journey, Mooney, and just hearing your story and just knowing what our people are going through.
Right.
And I think that's what drives me.
Yeah.
So our people are leaving up out of here.
So tell me about the business that you are, in fact, the CEO of. Tell me that.
Okay.
We got to hear it.
Okay, so let's start with the journey.
Okay.
So in 2019, me along with 3 other women started the first African-American cannabis CBD company in the state of Illinois called Wakanda.
Okay.
Not Wakanda, Wakanda.
Okay.
And so we did that for 4 years, highly successful, over 28,000 customers, 4,000 distributors. But in Vegas, we actually came to give birth to our rebrand. And so now Wakanda has become Akana. And so we are a health and wellness company. We exist to elevate the well-being of your body and soul.
Okay.
So yes.
Nice. Okay. Well, listen, I'm all about CBD. I do own a CBD company myself, you know, and the thing is coming from like growing up thinking like, oh, you know, cannabis is just terrible. Like you shouldn't be doing any of this. And, you know, going to the point where my grandfather had cancer, grandfather never drank, never did drugs before, and talking him into trying an edible because his appetite was low, his energy, well, he couldn't sleep, he was restless. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I really got to convince him to try this, you know, and it was extremely helpful. And then that's how I ended up getting into CBD in the first place. So it's, you know, it's almost like a deprogramming that we have to do with ourselves in order to move forward in these spaces that are valuable to people who look like us. For sure. Yeah,
I call it unlearning so we can learn the truth. Because I was the vice president for Students Against Drinking and Driving, the dare captain. My brother sold weed and got in trouble. So I was the good girl, straight A student. So
and when I entrepreneur this whole
time, he was the entrepreneur. So when I became the CEO of a cannabis CBD company, he was like, "What the heck?" Like he was the always getting in trouble, and it's like now I'm being celebrated. Like what is going on?
Right. Goodness gracious. Well, I am excited to even like see your face and see you here and being in all of you. You know what I mean? Just moving forward with business. So tell me, what were you talking about at the conference? Can you sneak that in there? Tell us a little bit.
So we've expanded. So we started off with CBD, cannabis.
Okay.
And that was phenomenal. Like you said, there's so many of our grandparents and parents, that stigma.
Right.
And I know even when my grandmother was on her deathbed in hospice, they had a stereotype about cannabis, but she was willing to do the pain cream.
Okay.
And the pain cream was the one thing every day that gave her relief. And so just to know you're able to create something that can help make an impact.
Right.
So someone, as they're going through that transition, can do it with less pain.
Absolutely.
That's life-changing.
Yes.
But with Akana, we really wanted to brand into more of a health and wellness company, a lifestyle company. We also do financial and travel. But you ask, what question would we ask Drake if he walked in? My question would be, Drake, do you know your blood type? If you don't, you need to check us out at Instagram at Akana.us. Now, we're just launching Akana.us. So we have a few followers. We just launched it, I think, today? So go follow us.
Right. So with that, like, what do you tell? So for me, I have a very rare blood type. So I try not to even tell people when I go to the hospital because.
Are you AB?
Listen, I don't want them to get it all up out of me. Okay. I don't need them to be saving it for other people later. Okay, but. So I don't tell people, but so some people who look like us, they're like, I don't need them to have all that information on me. How do you convince them to do so?
Well, here's the deal. Yeah. When you mentioned COVID and how we were on the front line and how it ripped our community apart, I want you to think about that. COVID touched many communities. Some communities, it was kind of like a sneeze. Some of them didn't even feel it. But why is it that some people ended up dead? Because of a virus that really wasn't the problem. The problem was our immune systems. And because we've been eating against our blood type for all of our lives, our immune system is causing an auto response. And it was called the cytokine storm that caused COVID to attack the lungs,
Right.
to create the spike protein that now has ended up in many of our arteries and veins that's causing massive heart issues with even our youth. And so it's about getting to the truth
Right.
of the fact that, yes, we all have a different blood type, and our blood type is more important than even your DNA.
And you know what? When I found out, it's probably been about like 8 years. Like I found out my blood type has to, like, I can't eat this because my blood type is this, or I'm having a reaction because I'm eating too much of this based off of my blood type. You can eat it. You can eat that, but I can't.
That's true.
But not understanding that it like, and then too, I guess that would kind of like trickle down into like households, right? In my household, you know, if I didn't want to eat something, I didn't have to eat it. My mom probably would just make me something, my siblings something different, so on and so forth. But the reality is most parents don't parent that way. So it's like, no, this is what I made, this is what you're going to eat. So now we're trained that that's how this happens, but that goes back to the unlearning, right?
Yes.
And then too, learning that you have resources like you know, to say, hey, by the way,
Yes.
these are the things that you're supposed to do based off of your blood type.
And I can relate to the household because
Yeah.
my mother is a blood type O. I have a 31-year-old son who's a blood type O.
Mm-hmm.
My grandchildren are B and O. My grandmother was an O. I'm an A.
Yeah.
So go figure, right? I can't give my own child blood because think about that for a second,
Wow, that's
right?
deep.
But if there's another person that's an O, you're not related to my son, but you can give him blood,
Right.
right?
Wow, that speaks.
There's power in the blood, but they won't even teach you your blood at the hospital without charging you about $1,700 in a bill
Right.
for you to know your blood.
Right. You know what I told people before, like, hey, when you go get, you know, your blood work, ask them, because they'll give it to you, you know, when they get the results without having to charge
If you go
for
get
it.
it, like if you donate blood.
If you don't,
But at the hospital, they don't even want to test you.
Yeah.
You have to donate for them to tell you.
Yeah, it's work.
Yeah.
And you know, and I appreciate you guys being out there, like, you know, to making sure. So where can people go to even find this information?
Well, you can follow us at akana.us on Instagram.
Spell it for us.
AKANNA dot us.
Got it.
US, yes. On Instagram, that's our social media strategist. She just created the page, right?
Man.
Yes.
Right.
and the thing
Shout out to her.
right,
too.
shout out to
Yeah.
CJ
She's over here
Chevalier
putting away.
Gilmore.
Hey.
And she's also a model, so you'll see her on many famous shoots. So
Hey.
she's fabulous.
Like it.
But you know, one thing too, I'll say too, now as the type A child, I was suffering with different chronic issues. My mom thought I was a hypochondriac because she was forcing me to eat the meat.
Shout out to
She was
my
forcing me to
sister
eat the
who might be in the
chitlins,
other
right?
room. I'm not eating chitlins.
Right.
I don't care what.
Yeah.
First of all,
Right.
It doesn't even smell
Right.
enticing.
Seriously, right?
Never did.
Yes.
I don't understand it.
And they would eat it and they would force us to do the same thing
No,
in my family. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, I almost died at 19.
Goodness
My digestive system was under attack. I had a 50% chance of living. I was a perfectly what I thought healthy person. All-star cheerleader, running track, off to college. And one day, literally, I was in chronic pain. The hospital sent me away. 2 weeks later, they said, oh my God, if we don't have emergency surgery, this child won't make it. 50%.
gracious.
And there's all digestive issues.
Right.
My body could not handle it.
So what you're doing is essentially from, you know, your own experiences, and I think that that's valuable too, because you like when you don't like have an experience on something, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna sell this product to you, like how is that? I don't, you know what I mean? It's almost like, how do you even know this? Or how valuable is this information really to you? Or are you just trying to sell it to me? So you having this experience yourself, and you as well, Willie, like having these experiences yourselves and being able to talk about them. And I'm sorry, y'all, sometimes value is attached to a dollar amount that, you know, you should probably want to, you know, patronize us and gain this knowledge as well. But at the same time, you know, if it's not something for you, share it with someone else. And I think that's the part that we have to get past all of those things, so that you guys can collaborate with one another and make things happen.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the power behind what our CEO Melissa has created is it allows for the average person The average person, to get the information, because life is not fair to those who are not aware, but allows them to get the information.
Did you write that down? You wrote that in the book?
To get the information,
Right.
and not even when we sometimes, people, and we will push off of something if we feel that there's a hook. Melissa has made it possible where there's no hook. Like blood type test kits you can get off a Diamond VIP website, right? A simple blood type test kit where you can do it at home with your family. And then actually she's empowered people to be able to take it to the street, take it to their families. And in all transparency, put us in a position to be wellness coaches, right? Wellness coaches, not crisis coaches. Wellness coaches where we can actually share with somebody through our bioscan technology, share with them what's actually going, because that's the second question, what's actually going on? Do you know what's happening on the inside of your body? So if Drake walked in, we'd be like, hey, Drake, do you
Drake
know?
got a whole lot going on
right?
inside his body.
And
But we're not going to talk about that today.
And I didn't know, but maybe that's, maybe I'm speaking to him directly.
Drake, we talking
Right.
to you, okay?
He's getting
Come
it.
through. You'll be here
Real
in a couple
talk.
of days.
How many people don't know, and I'm a cancer survivor. How is it that I get a checkup every single year? I get my blood tested, and then now my body is at a 70%
Right.
depletion with
All of a
malignant
sudden.
cells all of a sudden.
Right.
Oh, that's not good enough. So what Melissa has really empowered a lot of people to do is help your family. This is a bad feeling, right? I can only imagine, and a lot of us are in this situation where there's somebody that you want to help, and you see them either laying on their deathbed, right? Well, let me back up. Let me back up even before hospice, right? They're not at the point of no return yet, but they don't know what's going on, and you can't help them, right? But whatever it is that they're taking in, it's not helping them either. To put ourselves in a situation, and Melissa got us in this place, and allow average people like me and Brian, I'm going to say average, although we're not average, but put us in a situation where we can now share with you what's going on the inside of your body with only a 5% depletion. And I'm saying if your body was a battery and it's 95% charge, and I can tell you what's going on with your kidney, your liver, right? Are you approaching a heart attack? Are you approaching a stroke? And be able to tell you that on a microcellular level, not a macrocellular level when it's already a problem. I think that's very powerful. So to put helps, because I believe in elevation. I believe that God sends help. I believe that we are catalysts for somebody's solution or for somebody's outcome. And if we can have the right information, and if we have the right process to lead a person to their healing, right? I'll share this, and this is where Brian came in, which I had a breakthrough this weekend. And it was something that I buried for a long time and not even realizing that it was buried. I lost my dad at age 30, when I was 30 years old. Of course, before marriage, before life really took off. And very strong, right? He's a man's man. But the sad part about it is he got hurt on his job. And being a provider of provisional care for the whole family, well, it bothered him mentally. It stressed him out. And the money was there because of disability, but what it did to a man who provided. So he lended himself, right, to seeking other things to bring himself to a calm or a peace, and it never happened. It just led to drugs and then street drugs. So we're fighting against a couple different wars out here. But what I realized is that I was carrying a burden because I had the information and the knowledge to be able to help him. And sometimes we keep information like that to ourselves. We have to get past that. I held that information. I didn't speak to him. I didn't serve as an intercessor because he was my dad. He was an authority figure, or he was. We look at people, we judge people a certain type of way, and we don't say anything. That's right. And what ended up happening? Well, I carried that guilt because he died, and I've been carrying it for years. And I just came to that revelation today that says, wow, this is why you probably go as hard as you do when it comes to sharing help for people. Now, I could boo-hoo 2 days ago because I didn't even realize it.
Right.
And the men.
And that's, and I feel like too, like, would you have you gone to therapy? That's my question.
I have to now.
You absolutely have. Everyone needs to go to therapy, seriously.
Yeah.
Because those types of things could have been addressed so much sooner.
Yes.
And then they may have carried on to the way you communicate with your family, the way that, you know, you have all of these different ways that you communicate with, you know, it could be a counterpart, it could be a friend, it could be your kids, it could be yourself. You know, like, because you have to learn too, okay, now I got to give myself grace because of these things.
Yes.
So definitely go to therapy. But I'm glad you had that breakthrough. Yeah. And now you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go, you know, and process through these things that I have been feeling that I didn't know that I was feeling all this time.
And the wonderful thing is that I believe what's happening here in Vegas and what we're all are seeing now is the power of connection. Mm-hmm. That was a particular experience where Brian brought Wakanda is a 98, I'm being conservative. This is a 99%, you know, they built this thing, and women are thriving at 99% women, right? And the market share, you know, if we go into the market share, women just doing it. Let me give a shout out to all the ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real.
Thank
but
you.
being that I represent probably that 1%. Go ahead.
I hear a lot of people say if you don't have a woman leading your team or your business, like, it's down. These are two things that I personally believe. You have to have a woman on your team, and you have to have a Gen Zer on your team. I don't care how you feel about it. Like, you have to.
Get over your feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to.
So check this out. That's why I promoted my wife and put her out front. I'm the street promoter, but she's the face.
Yeah.
You think she don't know what she's doing? She used to work for promoters 30 years ago. Of course she does. She was their secretary, so she picked up all that information from there. But I want to say this real quickly because I was led to look at my cell phone. So I was just mentioning Jason Hargrove. Would you believe his widow, Daisha, just reached out to me? Hargrove. Oh, no. It's even deeper because remember I told you I'm going to have an artist do a rendering of a painting of those two. And just something just hit my heart this morning to do this. And I'm just sitting over here tripping. Like, that's why I'm quiet. I'm like, Lord, I don't know what you're doing to me right now. Like,
wow.
But we're going to make her into a star. Because we're going to make his memory known. And in my mind, I'm like, I want to give an award with his name on it.
I love it.
You know what I mean? If I could name a street after him, I would. Because I'm just saying, you know, this is just a bus driver, but that's what we do, ain't it? Like, we see it on the news and we just kind of like pass over it. And I think that's why he stopped me on that one person.
We don't pass over it over here.
No, but I'm saying a lot of us do, right? Because the information is coming so fast.
And it's our responsibility not to do so.
Bingo.
And so now you've been empowered to do that.
Yeah.
And you know, make some changes in that family's life, his widow especially. So yeah.
Because he has kids. Everybody's got something going on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Brian represented that man tribe that I have been looking for. Because what Melissa built, I stand on the shoulders of 4 African American women, based off a vision that God gave her. And Melissa she didn't judge me, right? And pretty much like open range, right? For, hey, do your thing. Any question, any concern or whatever, she addressed it. You know, then I met Phyllis and some of the other founders in the company. But she allowed a man to spread his wings. And then here come, you know, and there's been so many, we got to give a shout out to everybody in Akana. Everybody in Akana. Because it represents just a place where it's not a respected person. And then Brian comes along at this short period of time, and it's like he brings in some of the other guys that I'm thinking, well, really, Stookie came along first, you know, Stookie, shout out. Well, no, Moshi came along.
Yeah, there you go.
And then Stookie, and then Dr. Breakthrough, and then Brian. Man, I'm like, I grab a hold of Brian. And then he bring in a whole force of guys cornered up in the party, and then a breakthrough happens. I'm crying in tears. I'm like, oh my God, let me turn my back. All the ladies don't see me crying. No, but no. So when I look at Melissa, right, and I look at God gave, we're talking about women, God gave her the vision. And with whatever was going on at that time, when I walked in and she shared what, right, the company was all about, where the company was going, I was like, boom, because politics and everything else had a different picture and perception of that. I could have went left, but I went right.
But I think we got to know our roles.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to know the role they play. You know, that's why we made Diamond VIP Lions, because Lions, you know, they're all bosses. But guess what? Everybody knows their role. We all good. We all work and operate in that role. And I don't have to call you to make sure you did what I said. Oh man, this is gravy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, working collectively, like I'm definitely not a person that believes in business partnerships, but collaboration for sure.
That's
right. Because I need all my coins, and I don't need nobody to tell me nothing.
No, listen.
No,
I can say this. I want you to keep your business. What I'm saying is, I promote other people's businesses willingly.
Right, and that's exactly what we should be doing.
Yeah, willing.
It's a collaborative effort, and I think that you know, understanding like, yes, we need to stand in entrepreneurship and ownership of our businesses, but yes, we have to collaborate. Yes, we have to you know, say, hey, you know, let me look into this.
Yeah,
right.
I've seen Melissa, and like you see CJ is here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Melissa has grabbed everybody's gifts, Brian. Like I've seen everybody's gifts and put them all in. Like I look at my fraternity brother, she's grabbed him. You know, he's created the flat belly lifestyle, right?
Okay.
Plant-based, you know, his formula. And this is why we all walking around looking young, right?
It's not the melanin?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you, you got to get to that. Right? Brian has the bioskin, and it has the, I'm telling you, what he has is amazing.
Nice.
And I'm glad that he's, but she's been able, like the conference was really about how many people who have whatever gift they have and the knowledge that they have. And she pieced that baby together to put them all in one spot. And then everybody show up and it's like, boom, we're here because she.
And that's true, because you got to lay the foundation. I tell people this all the time. You have to. That's what it's all about.
Well, and I think the collaboration is important because we didn't want to just sell a product. Any company could sell a product. We said we have to do something different.
Exactly.
I'm tired of being in companies where it's just about here's a product and they act like it's going to be the cure for everything.
Right.
There's no product that's the cure for everything. It's a system, it's a solution, and it's education.
Right.
Exactly.
And our program really starts first with actually giving them the food list of what you should eat. So we're talking about just going to the grocery store. We're not selling you anything to tell you what you should be eating and not eating. That's free information.
Right.
And that's the truth, because we know that the healing is in the ground. It's the plants. And then we actually provide supplements as just what it means, to supplement a balanced diet. And so what you are alluding to is the fact that we brought in all these collaborative partners to create something that truly is special, because it actually combines the best knowledge so that we can get to the healing. Because if we try to deny you just because we feel like we're in competition, now we're at 70% healing.
Exactly.
But if we get to 100% healing, it means we've had to be open to what is the information that we need. And so we brought in a team of doctors. We have medical doctors. We have naturopaths. On that stage, we had probably 9 or 10 of our medical staff grace the stage, and everybody's like, wow, Black excellence at its best. MDs, right? PhDs, some of them were PRNs, right? And so it's just a powerful movement because we want people to be empowered. If you never buy a product from us, that's not the focus. Our focus is getting people educated about your blood type. 1 million people within the next 18 months is our goal, to know your blood type. And then like you said, Willie, what's happening on the cellular level?
What's happening?
Some of us are walking around looking good on the outside, but what's going on the inside?
That's right.
I mean, we're seeing kids that are 17 years old with plaque in their arteries. Why is that happening? Because every day these kids are eating fast food. Some of them don't have a vegetable in their diet for the week. And we wonder, why is it we see kids dropping dead at 23 years old,
God.
at 14 years old,
That's crazy.
off the basketball court at 14 years old, and having a heart attack. Our bodies are designed by a brilliant creator who gave us a brilliant machine.
That's true.
Right, but unfortunately, we're accepting, right, the modern American way. And that's the SAD diet, the standard American diet, right? SAD, it spells sad. And if you take diet, look at it, take off the T, and it means we die, right? So we say decide, we say incorporate, because you have to incorporate the right foods. We say educate, because we have to educate our family. But the last step is we must transform. Because if we don't transform, guess what? We ultimately die because it doesn't pass on for generations, and we break these generational curses. So that's what we're excited about, just the movement of the education piece.
Right.
Because whether it's on the health side or the wealth side, we know that it's our people that are on the front line that are suffering the most.
That's right.
Right, absolutely, and back to the wealth part, because we all want to know, you know, how to get additional dollars. I happened to, start off in a field where I made a whole lot of money, and I just happened to just have it, right? But I think that a lot of people are trying to figure out how to break generational curses, and they're trying to figure out, how can I generate this revenue or this amount of revenue to get the lifestyle that I want from me and my family, and then what tools and resources can I utilize in order to get to this space. And I'm assuming that in this conference that I wasn't invited to.
No, you were.
No, listen, I'm assuming that we were talking about wealth, right?
Yes.
And what did that look like? What that conversation look like?
Oh man, it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about wealth, I think about two words.
Okay.
Leverage, and I think about residual. If you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, you will work until you die, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what this is about. It's about teaching people systems and having wealth coaches bringing information to our community. Because a lot of times we don't have the wealth because we've never been trained in the way to create wealth. And so we had our wealth coaches there, whether it was on the Forex side and the crypto, that's another avenue in which our company is really trying to empower our folks to understand that money is moving. Forex is a $2.4 quadrillion industry.
Absolutely.
And most people are like, what is Forex in our community, right?
True.
And so it's just bringing that in education.
Yeah.
Got it.
I came from banking. So what Vegas has is unique is I actually already was doing exactly what they're doing without them. When I found them, I said, oh, all these can just be amenities, because I'll actually brand you in everything. We do everything you want overseas and then bring it over here. I got Forex overseas, but I want to work with this company because it's easier for me to teach some of the smaller tenants through this. I'm banking, so I commodities broker. That's brokering oil wells in Texas. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me. I mean, you got to have $4 million liquid in the bank for me to have a conversation. Otherwise, I'm going to jail. So I wanted to bring these things to the people. I just want the people to understand how humbly I'm coming to you.
That's right.
If I bring you my hand, please don't tap that sucker down. Just walk with me for a second. Figure it out. Sit in a couple of rooms. You know?
And I think that also too, it's all about how the delivery. Like I'm
Absolutely.
like me, I can be me being a millionaire. I don't have to tell you.
That's right.
I never have to
Real
say
talk.
it. Okay.
That's right.
Real
And
talk.
it just is what it is. But I think a lot of times you can command a room without having to bark loud. And I think that when people hear you bark about how much you have, it discourages them from wanting to be part of that.
Sure.
And I think that is something that we have to understand, how to deliver information, how to deliver these tools and resources to people who look like us, so that they can receive them and then do something with it, rather than it be an ego impact.
I agree.
So I think that that's something that's important.
That's very powerful.
Yes.
When we're having these conferences, when we're having these conversations with someone at Starbucks, or a conversation with someone at L&M Soul Food, or whatever it is, we need to make sure that we are on an even playing field. I just want you to have the same resources that I have.
You know what? It should look like this. Our disposition, and I equate it to somebody who comes to sit in the pew at a church, right? And you're in the pulpit, and then you have the congregation, right, who's ready to receive the new member, right? what is it that they really see? What drew them there? Mm-hmm. So I'm a believer that your lifestyle, right, without saying much, will show people the Christ in you.
That's right.
Right? Just the lifestyle or your disposition, the way that you articulate things. Like I don't sell Christ, right? So I flip that over to business and I look at, well, the outcome is what you see, right? Whatever it is that I'm saying in education, I want you to do your research, do your due diligence, right? But I also will say, I want you to think, I'll tell somebody who I'm trying to compel to have their own and be an entrepreneur. I want you to think about, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And then sometimes you're absolutely right. It's painting a vision of what they will possibly see for their own lives. Could you see yourself, right? And I'm speaking to the world. Could you see yourself sitting in the chair with goggles on, like being attached to the Matrix, right? And really being happy because you're in this world and you're not physically there, but you're actually in the space. Maybe like you're in Vegas, or maybe you're in Jamaica, and you're sitting in a chair in a trailer home or on a reservation, right? And you're sitting there and you're enjoying this lifestyle, but you're sitting in a chair. You're not, and you're sitting there in that chair for hours, but you can still be happy and own nothing. But is that what we were designed for? Or were we designed to be at the top of the mountain?
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the reality is this, is that there might only be enough space at the top of the mountain, right? And sometimes some people do not want to own
now
anything.
check this out.
Yep,
now
right.
check this
Right?
out though. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said it that way, because that's what's anticipated. Mm-hmm. When you look at the herd and you look at the things that are going on in the world, crypto, you look at financial systems, the fourth industrial revolution, and all these different things that are happening, is it possible? I always start with that. Is it possible that it would be best for some people, when we're playing this game of Monopoly, for you to not play at all?
That's right.
And then what will be the outcome of that? Mm-hmm. Would you have your food supply the way that you desire? Would you be able to travel to a different place in the world outside of what's in your outside of your zip code? Or
but do you want to?
Right.
This is the difference, is that I think that when you get into a space where it's like, people want to, like, I want to be rich, right? I want to be wealthy, and people are, in that space like, hey, how can I do this? They are wanting that information, right? They're wanting, like, yes, I've already planned in my head, I want these 2 houses, I want this car, I want to pay for my kids' education, it's in their head already, right?
Got it.
I think that what we have to do collectively is start when they first start thinking about it. Luckily for me, I happened to work for a Fortune 100 company when I was 17 years old. Nice. I started trading as soon as I turned 18. I got stock options. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Let me figure out how to trade this. This is 26 years ago. Right? So what I'm saying is that we have to make sure that we are reaching people who are younger.
Absolutely.
And right
and I
there
think you're
at it.
Yeah. So and the thing is you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You reaching that kid while that kid is dreaming. Mm-hmm. And then maybe some adults have not stopped dreaming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's really key. Like you said, there needs to be a millennial in the room.
Yep. Right, or Gen Z, millennial, right. Gen Zers, both of them, right? The Gen Zers are the ones though who are, they are so against everything. I love it, right?
But they're super smart. Like,
exactly,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And that's exactly my point. Is that they take the time to figure it out. Like they're like, wait, because I looked this up, and this actually means, and so I think that with that, it challenges us to be like, all right, I have to think this through.
Shout out to Christian Phillips, right? He's our chief. This is Millennial, who's our chief operations officer.
Nice.
And this guy, it just has to have a line that makes sense from point A to point Z. But the thing is he's super bright and he's smart. And it's on point. The voice of what you're saying and what we're saying is that I believe, and I just have to believe it this way because I have to stay on the positive, the high energy side. I believe, as scripture would say, is that we learn from, right, those who are after us, right, from the next generation, right? And I
think that it's both ways.
Okay.
Like I know I'm a wealth of knowledge. Okay, I don't care what y'all say, right? I might be considered an old lady, right? However, I know that bringing in Gen Zers in my business was so helpful because now I'm understanding the things that are happening. I was in technology for 20 years, right?
Exactly.
So I know everything. I know how to use all this stuff,
I
right?
speak tech, huh?
Yeah, but they're not. It's not. It's beyond tech. It's beyond.
It
It's a
is.
whole
I mean,
different
we're talking
situation.
about COBOL and Pascal. Now they talking about what?
Yeah.
Right?
Let me just share.
So both, definitely.
The beauty of being in Vegas and the beauty of me being a promoter is what I did is I went out and found those people in different conventions that they were coming to, and I was asking different ones, "Are you from here?" And it didn't matter if you weren't or weren't. We're blessed to have some that are here. So I've got some 33-year-olds. I got 31 I got 28-year-old.
Get the 21s.
Yeah, I'm trying.
21,
I can do as much as I
21.
can, but they can speak better than them. You know what I mean? Than I can. And I don't even try to speak whatever that is.
It's not even that it's a different language. It's just a different way that
communicate.
You just communicate with them and trust that they're going to be able to reciprocate whatever it is that you're asking them, right?
Well, no.
And you have to listen.
I have a daughter that's
the
23.
best
She's a
thing.
beast.
Yeah,
she's a beast. Like
absolutely.
she scares me sometimes. I'm like, all right, boo, do you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, listen, I am so excited that you guys had a chance to stop by.
Thank you.
And tell us more. Like, you got some things coming up because we only have a few minutes left, so I want to make sure we share that. What do you have going on? You have some conferences, some things.
May 27th, I am a part of the African diaspora, so we're doing a movement. I'm actually going to have the machine out there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's going to be 5,000 people out there. Please show up.
Where is this?
Oh, at Craig Ranch Park. I apologize.
Ranch Park,
Craig
okay.
Ranch Park. So that's 628 West Craig Road, North Las Vegas.
Right, Craig Ranch, 5th Street. Pull right in there, past the skate park.
Don't miss it.
Okay.
Boom.
Perfect. And then what about you guys?
Now, we live in Chicago, so
Okay,
you are free to
Chicago.
come see us at 411 East 35th Street.
But not in the winter?
No.
Right on. Oh, come, yeah, come now. This is, even though it snowed, I heard it snowed today or something. Or yesterday.
I worked out at Second City. Yeah, don't do the
Not
winter.
snowing
Stay
today.
away.
Wait a minute, we're the only city you can have winter, spring, summer, and fall all in one day.
One day. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Oh my
And some wind,
But
too.
trust me, it's a beautiful city,
It's
so
gorgeous.
we invite you to come see us. We can walk to our beach. We have a beach there.
Okay.
And we have skyline views from our office, so 5,500 square foot facility.
Nice.
And hey, we welcome all of our Las Vegas friends.
Don't get it twisted.
right.
I'm a Midwest boy. That downtown is amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing?
Driving in is
yeah.
amazing. Like,
You
it
got to
takes your
come in
breath away.
July, August, June maybe?
Yeah, June.
May should be okay.
And then we're calling you. I'm calling you next.
I dropped my phone in
that,
September. I'm like,
phone
yo,
call.
I ain't here.
Yeah,
Man. Don't call me. I ain't coming to Chi-Town.
Well, tell the people where they can find you on social platforms, where your websites are, things like that.
Yes.
Go ahead. You can find me under Minister Mooney under all platforms: Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, those are pretty the main ones. I'm a Generation XY, so.
You're not on TikTok yet?
Oh, I am on TikTok. I just started some.
TikTok.
CJ has to help me
okay,
with that.
CJ got you. She got you covered.
You know what? And I just want to say I'm excited about the partnerships, with Diamond VIP, right? Chicago, Vegas, and just all around the world. I'm looking at the empowerment of people.
Yeah.
I'm looking at just that plug-in of networking. I love the network. I love eliminating the negative stigmas.
Yeah.
And we achieving what we were designed
But we still
for.
have to address them, though.
Yeah, we still,
That's
it's
real.
the elephant in the
Real
room.
quick, Ms. Boston, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Sure, on Instagram, akana.us. And then on Twitter and Facebook, Akana HQ.
Okay,
Nice.
got it. Brian, where can we
All
find
right.
you?
DiamondVIPPromotions.com.
Got it.
All right. And you can set up an appointment with me. I'm actually holding court always down at Africa Love store, too. So always
Okay,
here.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. And that's over in Town Center.
Town Center.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. You know, one of our hosts works over there.
MVP, Mara. That's why I came in.
Okay, nice. Okay, perfect. And then we got CJ in the building. CJ, where can we find you? Where can we find you?
Find me at Damn Those Steak Tacos.
Okay.
Instagram, Damn Those Steak Tacos.
All right, and she's coming through with her phone and everything because
CJ ain't playing.
Man, Energy just put that out there. CJ got her phone back in the game. Listen, those of you who are tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, thank you so much for tuning in to hot7025fm.com. I am Carrice. You can follow me on every single social media platform at Carrice. Hey, I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.